Thanks, Emily. It's Friday, which means another edition of the DITV pregame show. I'm John Rawson alongside Kate Overton.
But before we get into Hawkeye football, we wanted to give a little update to our baseball fans out there.
That's right, Cade. We're already 2 games into the World Series, and to many people's surprise, the Washington Nationals are up 2-0 in the series.
That means the Houston Astros have a lot of catching up to do, but they can start the comeback during Game 3, which takes place tonight. First pitch is set for 7:07 p.m. in Washington.
Now, the Hawkeyes don't kick off until 11 a.m. tomorrow morning, but when they do, they're going to need some help from the offense.
That's right, John. Arguably, Iowa's top receiver, Brandon Smith, went down due to injury last week, and now the already struggling offense is even more thin. We have DITV football reporter Zach Lohman live in the newsroom to give us an update on the receiver situation. Zach, with Brandon Smith out for the Hawks, who do you see taking his place and stepping up against Northwestern?
Yeah, with Brandon Smith being out, just to prove how big of an asset he is, he was first in receiving touchdowns and second in receiving yards. Now, the first guy that comes to mind who's had a great season is Amir Smith-Marset. Marset has had 3 receiving touchdowns on the year and second in receiving yards. But a guy you might have forgotten about is Michigan transfer Oliver Martin. Martin had his first touchdown against Miami of Ohio, the very first game of the season for the Hawks, and he's only 5-28 for yards. But Kirk Ferentz talked about how they're going to try to put him in the fold this weekend.
Let's do the math. We're just, he's certainly been in the mix and is in the mix, and now you subtract one good player out of the mix, so it's more snaps available for everybody. So, yeah, he's working right now, and yeah, he's certainly in the mix for competition this week.
Now, Zach, with the strong Northwestern defense, what will Iowa need to do to be successful offensively?
I think Iowa honestly needs to establish the run game. With Mekhi Sargent, Torrin Young, and Tyler Goodson, they need to utilize them in the backfield. Also, with Sargent and Goodson, they can also be good in the passing game, either putting them out in the flat or putting out in wide receiver. Iowa needs to be creative with their play calling to be able to beat Northwestern this weekend.
Thanks for the update, Zach. Now let's stay on the topic of the Hawkeye offense. John, how are the Hawkeyes going to score some points this weekend?
Well, I'll tell you what, Kate, it starts up front. Iowa has to win the battle in the trenches.
And that might be a little easier than previous weeks because the Wildcat defense is built like the Hawkeyes.
They kind of have the same traits that we do, and you got to know that coming into the game. And I mean, we know that. That's why we're trying to have a great preparation this week.
While the battle starts up front, the Iowa offense also knows how key it is to make something out of nothing.
It starts up front, and then it's up to us after that to make the play. Sometimes it's not there, and you got to go out there and be a playmaker.
So, John, with no Brandon Smith and a struggling O-line, Iowa is going to need to make those tough plays.
For sure, Iowa needs more consistent playmaking, and it's going to have to be from the running back core and guys like Sargent.
Now, on the other side of the ball, Iowa has had a top 10 defense throughout the country all year.
And they're playing with a little more motivation this week against the Wildcats.
Everybody knows the history behind this game. We haven't been able to get these guys for the past 3 years, so we know we got to change that coming into this game this year. We have a big opportunity to do that on the road. It's going to be a very important game for us this week.
The Hawkeye defense has had a good game plan going into every game this year, and that doesn't seem like it's going to change against Northwestern.
The ball hard, and I think they're going to be trying to run the ball on us, just like that's what their main point is, and that's kind of our main point as well, is to stop the run and force them into uncomfortable positions.
As he predicted, Northwestern will be run heavy. Let's get into our predictions right now, Cade. It's 2 defensive teams. My guess, 17-5 Iowa.
Well, I think it's going to stay true to a defensive battle, but the Hawkeyes are going to come out on top 10-7.
Well, Cade, I don't have a watch, but I think we're out of time.
Check back in on Monday for your full football recap.
And a glimpse at some other Hawkeye sports from the weekend. Emily, it's all yours.